right, good afternoon. Happy Thursday. Let's get IG on. How are you guys doing? Hey, Andy. Good day, my lovely auntie. I just love it when you're on here because I know you're getting your business started and you are definitely inspired by these lives. So I just love when you jump in here and get this information because whatever it is that you do personally and or business wise, it's gonna help you in both aspects, of course, right? So the better you are with your personal planning, the better you will be in your business planning as well, right? So that's why what we do here is we try to talk about business on Tuesdays, and then on Thursdays we try to talk more in the personal financial situation because, of course, it go hand in hand. Too often when you have your business set up, of course, to get any kind of funding or any kind of financing for your business or create any kind of business credit, of course you got to make sure that your personal finances are in order in order for you to be able to get business credit and or monies, right? So you gotta have your house in order first. So today we're going to talk about personal tips that will change your spending habits because, of course, spending as money's going out, and we constantly talking about making sure that you make more money so that you can save more money so that you can become wealthy. So this is one of the reasons why we want to talk about your personal spending habits, and so you can keep more money in your pocket, right? So that you can have more to do things with or invest in your business or in your personal lives. So today we want to talk about 7 personal tips that will help your spending habits. And I love these tips. I just love it because a lot of us, we spend money and we don't pay attention to what we're spending money on. And some things is not as important as, we think it is at the moment when we're spending this money. And we are all guilty of this, right? So, hey, Cliff, thanks for jumping on. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Cliff. Thank you for jumping. Hey, Cognac, thanks for jumping in here. So we're going to talk about 7 personal tips today, guys. Hit like and share on this video. Get some folks up in here. And we want to talk about the first one is create a financial calendar. I just love this, right? Create a financial calendar. And so what it is that you just want to put down on a calendar. This could be something visual that you're going to be looking at, right? Not something on the phone that you don't see today. You have to look at the entire month. So you want to create a financial calendar, guys, so that you can put each one of your bills that you need to pay in one of those days on that calendar. And I'm going to tell you what this is going to do for you psychologically and otherwise. So you want to create a financial calendar and put every day on that calendar something that you have to pay, whatever bill that you have to pay, whether it's, utilities, whether it's a car note, whether it's your insurance bill, whatever that is, put on a financial calendar, right? And so what it does is when you look at this calendar, and there's 30 days, maybe 31 days, if it's February, it's even shorter. And let's say you have so many dates that's occupied with a bill or something that you have to pay. This is really psychological. Think about this. If you look at that calendar and you see every other day or every week, there's 2 or 3 bills that needs to be paid, right? When you look at that for the month, you get to take a visual. And once you look at this and you be like, oh my God, I got to pay all this stuff, right? I got to pay my utilities this month. I got to pay the car note this month. The insurance is due here. The rent is due there. All the stuff that you look at. So what happens is you spend less money on frivolous stuff, right? Because if you were just going out to buy, for instance, a pair of shoes that you really didn't need, you will think twice. You're going to be like, man, when I look at my calendar, it has all the stuff that I need to pay. So maybe I don't really need that pair of shoes, so I won't buy it. So this is the thing about it, right? Psychologically, it will help you to only spend money on things that are important. And unless you're seeing this, it's not going to make any sense to you, right? So that's why you want to create a financial calendar. Pay attention to the dates when these things are due. The other second reason here is so that you can make sure that you pay everything on time. That's the second thing, because you look at those dates and you know when stuff is due, you pay them on time. You can get alert. Of course, you can set that up. So with your financial calendar is going to assist you to pay your bills on time. And one of the reasons why we say this is because last time we had a conversation about this, you want to not spend extra money or throw it away on late fees. You want to make sure you pay it on time. So there's 2 things the financial calendar will do. It will assist you in visualizing all your bills when it's due and it will help you to make sure you pay them all on time, and so you avoid late fees and throwing your hard-earned dollars away. This is what I usually like to say. All right. So that's my first point today, guys. Create a financial calendar. Today we are talking about personal tips that will change your spending habits. And all of us know that we all have bad habits when it comes to spending. We figure, hey, we got to treat ourselves. Sometimes it's not the right time, but we want to do it anyway. And the idea is to make sure you keep more of your money, save more of your money so that you can become more wealthy. So this is why we are discussing, having these discussions, okay? So the second point today, hi, Inez, thanks for jumping on. Thanks for jumping. Hi, Miss Laverne. Good afternoon, Miss Elaine. Good afternoon. Hey, sis, how are you? So the second point today, guys, let's jump right into this. Pay attention to interest rate. Very important, guys. Interest rate. You guys hear this all the time. You want to pay attention to interest rate. If you have a credit card or any bill that has a high interest rate, you know, sometimes you may have had to buy a car prematurely. The credit might not have been the greatest. You had to buy this car, and you may have gotten a very high interest rate on that automobile financing. You want to pay attention to that, guys, because there's ways that you could refinance that, lower the interest rate. You want to also try to pay off all your credit cards that has the highest interest rate. You want to pay that off because that interest rate is costing you a lot more extra money. So pay attention to interest rate. Very important, very serious. It regulates how much money you're paying and how much money you're actually throwing away, because if the interest rate is lower, of course, it's less money that you have to pay out, right? So pay attention to interest rate all the time. If you have a high interest rate credit card, pay it off. The highest bill with the highest interest rate, you want to pay it off. Or the next thing you can do is try to refinance and get a lower rate so you could pay out less money. Okay, so this is a part of the spending habit that you want to do, is figure out how to pay out less money. Hey, Margie. Hi, Elaine. Thanks for providing great information to improve our principal situation, our financial situation. Yes, thank you, Margie, for jumping in here every week. You guys hit like and share. This is so important, and these are a lot of simple stuff that we do on a regular basis. Okay, so interest rate. Now, the other part of the interest rate and the other flip side of that is you want to try to put your money, your savings, your CD, or any type of money into a credit union or some type of vehicle that will give you high interest rate, right? So you want to pay low interest rate on a bill you have to pay out, but when you want to save money, you put it into a vehicle that gives you the highest interest rate. This way you earn more money on your money. So you might want to look at a savings account or a CD account, or maybe what bank or what maybe credit union, whatever the rate is the highest is where you want to put your money. This is where you want to save your money. So guys, it's very important. Pay attention to this stuff. Make it an issue. Make it an issue. If you want to go open a savings account at a bank, make it an issue to find out what are the rates of CD, what are the rates of savings account. They're not the greatest now, but what is the potential rate? Where should I put my money so I can earn the highest interest rate on my money? So when you're saving, you want the highest interest rate, and when you got to pay out, you want the lowest interest rate, right? So this way you can keep more money. So pay attention to interest rate. That's the second point today. All right, so let's move right along to the third point. This is my favorite because a lot of us doesn't do this. And if we do, we don't follow it. So my favorite here is set a budget. Set a budget, right? Every month you want to set a budget that you are going to follow, right? Don't set a budget that don't follow. You're going to follow this budget. So you're going to decide how much stuff that you're going to have to pay out so you know what your regular bills are, right? So you can set a budget for those regular bills. Then you're going to set a budget for your savings. You're going to put set aside, maybe say 30% of whatever it is that you make. You're going to set that aside for savings, for emergency fund. You're going to do, set a budget for that. And then this is my favorite, set a budget for your recreation. Hey, you got to have some fun, right? The kids is all working, no play. Got to have some fun. So set a budget for your recreation. If you decide that you're going to spend $200 a month, let's say going out to movies or maybe going to a dinner or going to a party, and you set aside $200 for that month to do that, don't go out splurging $200 and $300 or $400 and $500 for that month, because that would screw everything up, less money into savings, and that's not what you want to do, right? And if you continue to do that, then of course it will mess everything up. So set a budget and stick to it. Stick to it. And again, like I said, make sure that that budget is in there for your recreation, because we all got to have that recreation, right? So we can feel better about making this money. we can get some payment out of this. So that's the third point today, guys. Set a budget, stick to it. Set a percentage of that money aside for all of your emergency needs. Set a percentage of that money aside for your retirement fund. A percentage of your money for all your bills. You know what those are because you have a budget, so you have to do that. And then set some money aside for yourself, for your recreation, so you can have a good time while you earn money. All right, so let's move on. Hey, Taj Nash, thanks for jumping in. Hello, Miss Elaine. Thank you for the words of wisdom. Thank you for jumping in. I really do appreciate you. Number 0, thanks for jumping on here. All right, guys, let's move right on to point number 4. So what we want to do in number 4 is, this is great. Consider an all cash spending, right? So guys, everybody nowadays, we use a card, right? We always using a card. We're always using our card. First, it was using the bank card, the debit card, or using the credit card. We're always using a card. But just think about this. When you use a card, you don't really see that money leaving. That money didn't leave your hand. You slide the card, you're stopping, you're buying, you're doing this, you're sliding the card. And in some purchases, right? Sometimes I purchase stuff online and the charge doesn't come up for 2-3 days. And later on, you wonder what happened to the bank account, but it was something that you bought before or something that, just showed up, right? So why don't we try this? Okay, I want you guys to all get with me on this one. Maybe we should all try it for at least a week, 2 weeks, maybe a month. Just an all cash spending. Right, so we're going to take out maybe $100, few $100 out the bank, and this is what we're going to use it for all the stuff that we stopped and always sliding the card and sliding the card and sliding the card. We want to do that with cash. And you guys all know how it is. If you have $100 bill and you went somewhere, you step at Starbucks, you bought some coffee and you break that $100, right? So you try to hold on to that money. Every time you went to go buy something, you're going to think about how much it costs. Do I really need it? All those decisions, because now you want to hold on. See how much of that $100 you can hold on by the end of the week, right? So if you do that, I guarantee you will spend less money. When you slide the card, guys, you do not see that cash leaving your bank account that moment, maybe not for a day or two. And you don't really pay that much attention, even though you check your balances. But when you have to come out of pocket with that cash every single time, and you want to hold on to this $100, you don't want to spend it on anything you don't need, it stops you from buying stuff that you really don't need, right? So let's try that. Okay. Challenge, everybody. Let me hit like in there. So let me see if everybody's on this with me. I'm definitely going to try that one. Okay, so all cash spending. I love that one. And for people who can't really control their spending, this is the greatest way to have you do that, because you're going to want to hold on to that cash. And if you're not able to do it, you're going to be like, okay, I know why I'm doing this, right? Let me pay attention to what I spend my money on. So let's move right along to the 5th point today, guys. It is set smaller goals, right? The thing about smaller goals is sometimes if you have large goals that you're setting, it just seems so far-fetched. If you don't think that you're going to get there anytime soon, sometimes you are discouraged by that. So, you feel like, okay, well, I don't know when this is going to happen. So I'm just going to just spend everything I got now, because I don't know when I'm going to be able to get this house, or when I'm going to be able to get this huge, whatever purchase that might be. So in order for you not to be discouraged, and you want to also have goal setting in a way so you could set smaller goals, right? Sometimes I know a lot of folks that will set small goals. Like, for instance, I want to save $5,000 by, a certain date, or by my birthday or something like that, right? So you set smaller goals. So it allows you to set money aside, and you're saving money for this particular date and time that you're setting. It may not have to be the huge purchase that you want to do, but then if you say, I want to save $5,000 by my birthday and another $5,000 by Christmas, you set those goals, and you definitely work towards meeting those goals, okay? Because if the goals are smaller, it seems that you can get to it much quicker and easier than say, well, I'm going to have $100,000 by Christmas. So you want to just set smaller goals that you can accomplish, so you're not discouraged and you're not taken off course, okay? Now, same thing like if you want to make a trip somewhere. You want to make a trip overseas, and that's going to cost you thousands of dollars. So you want to start saving towards that. And so therefore, it's something that seems more tangible, something that you can really reach easier, and something that you can definitely achieve, right? So set smaller goals, and that will help you to stay encouraged. All right, so that's point number 4 today. All right, so the 5th point today, guys, is no, that's number 5. That's number 5, right? So let's move on to number 6. I love this one. This one says evaluate purchase by cost per use. I love this one, right? So this one is, you don't want to spend money and buy stuff because it's less expensive all the time, right? You want to consider how much are you going to use this item. For instance, if it's clothes or shoes, appliances, how often are you going to use this stuff? You want to be able to evaluate how much use you're going to get out of this and how much you should pay for it. Sometimes we all know this. If you don't pay enough money for an item that has a lot of use, it's not durable enough. What happens is you want to buy that stuff more often, right? If you have to buy something more often in a shorter space of time, then you spend, what do? Spend more money on it, right? Spend more money on it. So instead of that item lasting you 6 months, if you got to buy it 2 or 3 times within the 6 months, you spend more money than if you had spent more money in the first place and get something more durable. So that's what this means. Purchase by cost per use. If you're going to be using it a lot, make sure that there's enough use out of it. So pay more money so you can get more use, because the other way around, guys, guarantee you we've all done this before. Spend less money and next thing you know, we're buying the thing again. It's broken. 2 weeks later, we have to go buy it again. And then, of course, you spend a whole lot more money, right? So that's number 6. Evaluate your purchase by cost and make sure that you do that correctly so that you spend money for the right thing, based on the use of what you're going to get out of it, right? I just love that one. All right, so number 7. So no, this is the best. You guys, this is the best. I know you stick around here and save the best for last. So it says spend money on experiences and not on things. This is great. So what it means is we can spend some money, that money we set aside in that budget for ourselves, for recreation, spend money on experiences. So you might want to spend money on taking a memorable trip somewhere, right? And instead of buying, I don't know, some shoes or something. I always come up with that because that's my favorite. Instead of buying material things like some shoes, that you don't remember, maybe never use again, you want to spend the money on memorable things. You want to have maybe a great trip somewhere, whatever it is that, that brings you joy. Again, you're working really hard. So everything that we talked about is not just to set everything aside and neglect yourself. It's to make sure that you are also having fun while you're doing this. Okay. So you want to be able to spend money on experiences, and you don't want to spend money on pricey material things that, of course, who knows? Many times you spend a lot of money on something very pricey, and 2 weeks later, you're not even using that purse or that shoes or whatever, that jacket, that coat. You might not ever use it again. And so that's what it means by spending money on experiences and not on pricey material things, of course, that you may not even use again, for that matter, right? So this is one of the reasons why we want to go through these points today, guys, because we definitely have to get a handle on our spending habits. And of course, we want to make sure that while we stay focused on our spending habits, again, this will allow us to set money aside. And to set money aside is allow us to build wealth, because then we can invest and make more money on our money, right? All right, so let's recap today. 7 personal tips that will change your spending habits, guys. Let's recap. Tip number 1, create a financial calendar. Put everything that you have to pay in there, get a visual of all 30, 31 days or whatever it is, and take a look at that. And if you see all the bills that you have to pay and all the stuff that you have to do within that month, you might spend less money on things you do not need, right? And I will also make sure that you pay your bills on time, because you see the dates when they're all due, and you don't waste money on late fees. This is our biggest problem. We don't want to do that. So point number 1. Number 2, you want to pay attention to interest rate. Very important. It can eat away at your money. Interest rate, high interest rate, cost you more money. It'll eat away at your funds. Pay attention to that. If you have high interest rate bills, guys, try to get rid of them as soon as possible. Pay those off as fast as you can. And if you are saving money, which you should be doing in any type of CD, bank, savings and loans, credit union, you want to put it where the highest interest rate is, so you can get more on your money. Make more on your money and pay less out than other people's money that you. Right. So that's number 2. Number 3, set a budget. got to set a budget, stick to it. Stick to the budget, right? If you only have $200 to go out and shop with and spend on your personal self, that's it. That's all you do. Don't go over and decide that this month you want this very expensive person, so you're gonna just go over and spend thousands on that. Set a budget, stick to it, and don't change it unless it's absolutely necessary, right? Okay, so that's number 3. And number 4 today is consider an all cash spending habit. I like that one. Try to use cash for a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe even a month. I want you guys to come back and tell me how that worked for you. I really want you guys to come back and tell me how that works, because I know when you have to pull out cash, it just seems like your money is just disappearing. You know what I mean? And we're always conscious of that. Hey, Lorna. We're always conscious when we take out $1 and put it somewhere, spend it somewhere. So let's try an all cash for a week. You guys come back in here and tell me how that works for you. Okay, I'm going to do it and I will write on there and see how that works for me. So that's number 4. Number 5, set smaller money goals. Set smaller money goals, things that you can achieve smaller. If you for your savings, just set a goal and say how much money you plan to save by your birthday, by Christmas, in 6 months or whatever, and set that aside. Because again, it doesn't matter how much you save as long as you are saving. So you might be looking for hundreds of thousands of dollars in a short order, but set smaller goals. If you want to save $10,000 by your birthday or by Christmas, and at least you want to be able to achieve that, set those goals. And then once you get there, you can just raise the bar next time around. Okay. So that's smaller goals. You can set money aside so you can have a down payment to buy a home, which is a big investment, right? So that's the way you can do that. Number 6, evaluate purchases by cost per use. Again, don't buy something that's not durable. If you're going to use it a lot, you spend more money on buying it more often than to pay more money on something that would last you longer. So evaluate that, guys, very seriously. Very important. You want to make sure that you pay attention to that. We think that, oh, it's cheap, let's get it. Oh, it's cheap, let's get it. But how long is it going to last? You're going to replace that thing in 2 months, and you're going to buy it 5 times before the year is over. I've done it with my appliances. All right, so evaluate purchase by cost. And number 7, spend on experiences, not things. Yes, I love to go out and maybe spend the money on something an experience that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life, whatever, than to spend it on some pricey item that, of course, you might not even like it after you buy it. You might not even use it anymore, right? So that's just a waste of money. And we can't take it back for the most part. All right, so spend money on experiences and not on pricey items. And of course, experiences where we can go and have a good time, because as you work hard, you want to also be able to have a good time so that you can rejuvenate your mind and your body so you can continue to make money. All right, so that is my 7 points today, guys. I want to thank you guys for jumping in here. Let's see if you guys have any comments or anything regarding this matter or any other matters that you might want to hear, or any topic that you might feel might be more of importance to everyone, of course. You guys can write down in the comments below. I appreciate you guys for always jumping on here. All you guys for sharing. Andy, Lauren, Inez, all you guys for always sharing and jumping on as well. And of course, I've gotten a lot of compliment and a lot of comment from people who have found very good use of this of these items that we're talking about, and it have helped them in their personal and their business lives. So I'm very excited about that, so we can keep this going. Again, of course, guys, hit like and share on this video. If you guys have any further questions, please feel free to give us a call at PROBY'S 323-290-9034, and or visit our website at PROBY'Stax.com, so we can make sure that all this money that you're saving, keeping, and making, that you guys will continue to keep that in your pocket, because we will help you with tax savings and make sure that you only pay your fair share of taxes on all the money that you make. So don't worry about it. Go out, make it, save it, and we will help you tax-wise. Make sure that you keep that money in your pocket. All right. So with that said, guys, I will get up out of here this Thursday. You guys have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you guys back here on Tuesday with some more great information. With that said, I want to thank you guys for jumping in, and you guys take care of each other and take care of yourself. See you later. Bye-bye.